Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be the Combat Series episode number 52 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the Combat Series this week. I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the sport of MMA inside the UFC world between Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. So I'll be covering the UFC 302 main event. In the main event, we saw Islam Makhachev successfully retain his lightweight championship, defeating Dustin Poirier by submission in the 5th round to successfully retain his lightweight championship. So to me, personally, that Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier fight in the main event of UFC 302 was the best fight on the 302 card and the best fight throughout combat sports this weekend. It was a grueling, tough, physical fight for the lightweight championship in the UFC. Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier absolutely delivered in the main event of UFC 302. But hats off to Dustin Poirier. I tip my cap off to him if I was wearing one, because he gave everything he had in the octagon last night in that world of MMA inside the UFC world, because he fought through several takedowns against elite grappler Islam Makhachev, fought through several submission holds, never quit, stayed determined to win this fight. But in the end, Islam Makhachev proved that he is the much better fighter and won this fight by a unique way in the 5th round. I believe that was an ankle pick takedown that he scored in the 5th round against Dustin Poirier, which set up for a unique submission hold that there was nowhere for Dustin Poirier to go. He was forced to tap out, and Islam Makhachev has now successfully retained his lightweight championship in the UFC. But now, looking at this list, Islam Makhachev has now extended his win streak to 13 wins, passing his mentor Khabib and Tony Ferguson for the most consecutive wins in the lightweight division. He is now he's now on a 14-fight win streak in the UFC, is now third all-time in consecutive win streaks behind Kamaru Usman, who has 15 consecutive wins in a row, and Anderson Silva, who has 16 consecutive victories in a row. So Islam Makhachev is on an elite list right now in the UFC, a pound-for-pound fighter that we are witnessing at the top of his game right now in the UFC. Hats off to both performers, but hats off to the champion Islam Makhachev, standing tall, and still remaining the king of the lightweight division in the UFC. So, with that being said, what's next for Islam Makhachev? Now, Islam Makhachev has hinted that he would like to move up to the welterweight division, that get a chance to become a 2-division world champion and fight for the welterweight title. Now, I do believe there is a kick to that, and I've said that on the podcast several times, that there's, in order for a champion to be moved up and potentially become a double champion in the UFC, they need to at least have 3 to 5 world title defenses against top 5 contenders in their division. If it was my saying that, Islam Makhachev would not be eligible, because he only defeated one top 5 lightweight in his title reign, that being Dustin Poirier. So I believe he should stay put at this lightweight division and fight the best guy that's available in Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan is the best contender right now to fight Islam Makhachev for the lightweight championship. Now, in the past, Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan have fought in the past, and Islam Makhachev did defeat Arman Tsarukyan, but that was not the same Arman Tsarukyan that we are seeing right now at the top of the mountain in the lightweight division. And obviously that wasn't the same Islam Makhachev that we are seeing a pound-for-pound great in the MMA right now. So I feel like this would be a very fun fight to watch between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. If we could get that in the later part of 2024, that'd be absolutely great. I think Islam Makhachev should stay put the title on the line against an elite caliber fighter that is obviously proved that he is more than deserving of a crack at the lightweight championship, that being Arman Tsarukyan, after he just defeated Charles Oliveira at UFC 300 by decision. So he's more deserving of getting a lightweight title fight. Now, is this the end for Dustin Poirier? If this is the end for Dustin Poirier, it has been a great career to watch over the years, watching Dustin Poirier in the MMA. inside the UFC world, because he has 30 MMA wins. He has 16 victories coming away of knockout. He has impressive victories, defeating Max Holloway twice. He defeated Justin Gaethje and Conor McGregor twice. Those are some great names to add to your resume. He's also a former interim lightweight champion in the UFC. So if this is it for Dustin Poirier, I honestly don't blame him for retiring. He is 35 years of age, and if he's not competing for a world title, then what are you really competing for? In all of sports, you're competing to be the best of the best, and you're competing to be a champion. And if that goal is not in sight, I just don't see it as an athlete's perspective why you continue on. And I feel like Dustin Poirier is starting to realize that, because last night was his last true opportunity for the lightweight title. He came up short against Islam Makhachev, and it's okay. Dustin Poirier has something to be proud of, and it's best to walk away from a dangerous sport like this in the MMA on your own terms. And Dustin Poirier has a chance to do that. So if this is it for him, my hat is off to him. If I was wearing one, I tip my hat off to him. And he's got his wife and he's got his daughter to look forward to. There's a world outside of MMA world. He's did a pretty good job in the sport. And to me, Dustin Poirier, if this is it, will go down as one of the greatest fighters in UFC history to never become a world champion. Great career if this is it for Dustin Poirier. But that is my Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier fight summary on the main event that took place in the UFC 302 main event.